Welcome, one and all, from across the country. Today is December 17th, 2015, and this is our 55th Mastermind call. Just in case I forget, folks, we have these every Thursday. Next Thursday is Christmas Eve, and the following Thursday is New Year's Eve. So this is going to be our last Mastermind call for the year. We'll resume again the first Thursday in January. That doesn't mean we're not going to be working. If any of you need anything, as always, the best, most efficient, quickest way to get us, send an email to support@alltheleads.com. And our average time now in responding to those support tickets is less than 20 minutes. So if you get to someone, all of us will read it, and the best person to actually help you will get back to you, usually instantaneously. And very often that'll be Mr. Ownby, who I muted out for the barking dog. So he's our main customer support person. But we all have different abilities, so whoever is best able to help you will get right back to you. Tim, anything you want to share with the group this week?
A couple of things. We've been talking about divorce for a while, and I'm kind of happy to let you know that we actually are in beta now for real with a couple of folks who wanted to test it without having all of the backup information that we usually have available for that. In other words, we don't have the automated letter process in place in some of the other places. We're actually just testing the leads that we've been able to gather via the courthouses in 2 or 3 counties, just to test it for people who are, wanting to help us do that and who've been hot to trot for divorce, and getting some good feedback on that. And we're on track to roll that out early in Q1, and excited about the opportunity to do that. The things that we're finding, obviously, are that there may be a property that needs to be sold, but in every case, there's going to be somebody looking for a new place to live. In some cases, it could be a property to be sold and 2 people looking for a place to live. And as unfortunate as that is, it's a hard reality of life that if you're at the right place at the right time, you get all that. So, that's why we're excited about that opportunity, and we're going to be putting the back end pieces together to help you do the what to say, when to say it pieces as well. The other thing that we are also looking at and have gotten some requests from you about has to do with financial advisors and things like that. And we're going to find a bunch of other resources to help you shoot at. So I'm excited about doing that. That's great news, and we will be out with that early in Q1 and hopefully continue to move forward.
Excellent. Y'all have heard me say this before. Forgive me if it's a rerun, but I was recently, maybe a few months ago, I was telling an agent about the opportunity for divorce, and it looks like we're getting significantly more divorce leads than probate per county. And the agent said, well, of course, you can only die once, which is a good point. There are, in most counties, per quarter, per month, there's more divorces than there are probates. And that doesn't mean we're getting away from our core product here, guys. We're going to keep adding to, improving, making sure you guys get results with this. But we have enough of you now that are asking for it. We felt like it was time to roll it out, and we will be doing so. Chad, anything you want to share?
No, I don't have much today.
Okay. Anything new with you just started your most recent mastery class. When will the next one be?
I haven't picked the dates yet. Probably the last 3 weeks in January. Somebody just signed up, who just asked if they could sign up. We have finished session 1 of the December mastery. If you want to jump in, we can still send you the video recording from Monday, and you can join session 2 and session 3 on the 21st and 28th live. So it's we video everything, so in case somebody jumps in late, or in case you want to use it to train staff, so you wouldn't really lose anything by joining now. We have a couple of people that are coming in late, but so if you want to sign up, you can go to alltheleads.com, the system, education and training.
Excellent. And this is the biggest turnout we've had for a call. I suspect last week we were at the Triple Play Conference, and we were also, I did a radio interview that was featured on Inman News. So I suspect we may have a lot of people that are guests on this call. They may not all be subscribers. Chad, would you just real quick review, when you sign up, I'm always telling people you instantly get access to the back end of our website, which really has everything you need to be successful. Watch the fast track videos, download, play with the letters, go through your action steps, and you're good to go. In addition to that, we have two other programs, Probate 101, and then we had a significant request from people to get some type of a probate certification. So the class that Chad is talking about is Probate Mastery. Now, these are not things you need to do to get started. They're supplements to, once you get started, if you want to learn more about what you're doing. I think you put it well one time, Chad. We give you everything you need as far as the how-to, but there's a lot of agents that want to understand the what better, of exactly how it, what the process is and what happens, and pretty much that's what those two courses cover. You want to give them just maybe a 30-second outline on each for the people that aren't familiar?
Yeah, sure. And I realize, we did meet hundreds of people last week. So for those of you that we met at Triple Play, I invited everybody to so you can kind of see how we interact as a group. And thank you for coming by our booth. We obviously provide probate leads and all the systems and training around it. The free training we provide we call Fast Track, and that's behind the password. Only our members see that. So it's probably, 40 to 60 minutes of free training that basically anyone can get started by following that training. For those of you that really want to shorten the learning curve and dig into this, especially if you're a high analytical red geek like me, we've got Probate 101, and that's broken into 3 sessions, so you have a week between sessions to really implement everything you've learned and get the pieces in place. And something I realized in working with hundreds of agents across the country is a lot of people, even though they're really excited about probate because they heard about it, they understand the opportunity, they didn't really know what probate was and the logistics of the legal process. So that was the birth of Probate 101. And that program is about, what is probate? How is it handled in the courts? What are the steps? How do you help clients navigate that? It's also broken into 3 sessions. The second session is on the opportunity for us as professionals in the probate and really in the baby boomer space, and how you can, it presents the opportunity to you and then shows you how you can provide value as a real estate expert and, other industries as well. So that's kind of the training we offer right now. My mind never stops. We're always creating. I've got more ideas than I have time to implement them. So as we progress and some of the things Tim mentioned with divorce and financial advisors and different programs, our goal is never to just hand you a spreadsheet. Our goal is to hand you a spreadsheet that's the tip of the iceberg and really provide the environment like this where we can learn, we can share, we show what's working, what's not, and really talk about it. So there'll be a lot more coming in 2016 from the training side, and I'll let you guys know when those are available.
All right, excellent. And speaking of what's working, Tim, you had someone that shared a pretty significant. Last week we had the awesome win from Bud, who basically has a $6 million and a $2 million listing that he's pretty positive he's going to get from, and I think that was his first deal. So it'd be nice if we could all start off with $8 million deals, but that's not always the case. Tim, you said you had one that someone had shared with you that couldn't be on the call.
Well, actually, I suspect it's probably him. I was just digging to pull up the information and didn't get it before the call and forgot about it. But what we got back was it was the fellow that was on the call last week, and he pointed out that if you recall, he contacted a prospective client, got in touch with them, and they called him in to get involved in something, and he found that there was 2 pieces of property there, and one of them turned out to be some raw land, which was a couple hundred acres that's in the path of progress. And we sort of closed the call off last week by saying, you think you're going to have any trouble getting that listing? And he kind of laughed and said, no, probably not. Well, since then, there's been a little update to that. And my understanding from what I got and I saw was that it has since been determined that on that 200 acres of land, the municipal authority has already started building a road that will go right through the middle of that land, increasing the value of it even more than anyone knew, and that's because he kind of did his homework. And so now he's been called in to be part of a meeting with the city, the owners, and all of that, and it's exploding on him. And this is one customer, one deal, one opportunity. So it's those arms and legs that these things get if you just get to them. And all of this was because none of this was known until it went to probate. And that's the key element, is that a lot of times the people that have these properties, they don't know about it. The people that have them don't know about it. And when you get involved, it's additional value that you bring to the game.
Excellent. So Bud may get these 2 listings, sell them, and then retire, and we might lose a customer, on his first deal. I'm just kidding. If you're on the call, Bud, and you want to hop on and share, that's great. He's probably out working those deals. All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. We've got 3 questions in the queue. Thank you so much. So the rest of the call is about you guys. Thank you for listening to us. Let me open up. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Real quick before you open the line, I forgot. Some people have been asking where you can get these calls. So we record everything we do, so you guys always have access to it. To get the recorded mastermind calls and role play calls, you can go to our Facebook group, and it's All the Leads Mastermind is put in the search bar in Facebook. Just type in All the Leads Mastermind. It is a closed group, so if you're a subscriber, we'll let you into there. And I've been tagging everything with a short summary of what was talked about on the call and a photo of either mastermind or role play. So if you are new to this and you want to go back and kind of look through the archive, there's a ton of great calls over the last year and a few weeks that are posted there.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's open it up for our first questioner or commenter. Area code 321, you're up.
Hey, Jim.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Dean from Central Florida. How are you?
Hey, great, Dean. Welcome.
Well, I haven't been listening to I thought I had some time today to log on to it. I'm just following up on a conversation. I did finally, going over those, I got one listing. I think we were having a conversation just last week, I think, if you remember.
Oh, great.
So I did got a listing. It's a small end property. It's a short sale. But at least just to make a point, because I was getting frustrated by, and I'm with the program where you guys are doing everything, and my ISA is now aggressively calling all those leads. So I just wanted to give you a quick update that we did finally got one listing signed up. I think I spoke with you, and then 2 days later I had an appointment, and
wow.
It is a short sale, but we will be still working those leads. It's just that one of the other frustrations that we are having with my ISA making calls, there's a lot of bad numbers,
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a way for you guys to find better things. And
yeah,
also
and I appreciate that, Dee, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. On the first part of your comment is, I think that's awesome, because so often on these calls people come on and I got 5 listings, second listings, 7 listings the first month, but the last few weeks we've shared people like yourself that it took you a few months before you really started to get traction. As far as the phone numbers, the only way we can eliminate getting numbers that don't reach the people is to eliminate the number of phone numbers is to eliminate the number of numbers that we give you, D. We give you up to 5 phone numbers, and typically the first phone number will be the most recent and the one that shows up the most often. By the time you get to the 4th or 5th phone number, it might be an old phone number, it might be a fax machine, it could be a number of a relative. So you have to call all of them, and it does vary from market to market. We've had people tell us that anywhere from 60 to 90% of the time, and I think the average, Chad, what do you think the average is nationwide of being able to get at least one good phone number? Do you have the sense?
It's typically around 60%, but all the people that I've been working with in Mastery are reporting 80 to 90 that are really good at tracking their dial session.
Yeah, that's why we highly recommend, no matter what we do, we're not going to get good phone numbers for everybody. That's why we highly recommend that you send out a letter and follow up with a phone call. At least you're going to get 100% coverage, that way. But I'm glad you got your first deal, Dee. So that's great, and
well, let's hope so we can get this closed and
yeah.
brings in the revenue. So just 2 quick small questions. You were talking about some sort of a mastery. I have my ISA do that. So would that course or classes or webinar be available so that I can have her basically go through it? She's already looked at all the videos and have the script in regards to the probate, because I always coach her, say, you go into the probate thing, sometimes you get people who are just really annoyed or just
Sure.
we have ambulance chaser and all that. But as soon as you know they're buying, just go into your regular FISBO skills
Right.
and have that. So would that be available on something that could be downloaded or something? And then last but not the least is there a way that you guys can also maybe get emails?
Get more what?
Email addresses.
That's one of the first things we're working on next year, Dee. I don't want to promise you. It is something we're working on. We're going to roll out divorce, and Tim's been working on that for months. We can get emails. The problem is, we didn't release phone numbers until we got, a fairly good quality, and we've kept improving the quality. We don't want to just send you 100,000 emails. We're working on improving the quality of them, but that is on our radar for the first quarter of next year. Chad, do you want to address where I'm not sure if he's asking about Probate 101 or Mastery, but he's looking for some training that's recorded that his assistant could listen to.
Yeah. So if you want her to jump into Probate Mastery, like I said at the beginning of the call, we just finished session 1 on Monday. She could do sessions 2 and 3 live the next 2 Mondays. And then she'll get video recording. So if she can go through, session 3 would be the most valuable for an ISA because it's all about sales and the flow of conversation, common objections, role plays, things like that. And she could watch that as many times as she wanted. So, Dee, if you just go to alltheleads.com, in the top kind of center, you'll see the system. Go to Education and Training, and you can click the blue button for Get Started Now and sign up for the Mastery course, and you'll get on the invites.
Excellent. Thank you, Dee. We got a bunch of questions. Let's move to the next one. Area code 206, you're up.
Hi, yes. I'm sorry if I'm difficult to hear. I'm driving and listening and speaking, so you're inside my internal car. But at any rate, I wanted to ask if anybody's run into the data when it comes in on the spreadsheets. The addresses often, on mine anyway, show directionals like the prefix or suffix as the first letter capitalized and the second letter lowercase. Like Northeast would be capital N, lowercase e, and it's kind of tacky to put it on, merge envelopes and stuff that way. Does anybody have a good script or macro for Excel that you could scrub that data with that we could use to kind of make sure that the data, is as cleaned up as possible?
Yeah, you should be able to use the proper function.
Yeah, that's not going to fix that. Proper won't fix that, Chad, unfortunately. I mean, what you're saying is, like, if it says Northeast, it's capital N, small letter E. Is that your point?
Correct. And the end of, like, if it's on 22nd Street, it'll be 22 capital N D instead of lowercase n d.
Yeah, unfortunately. So unfortunately, a lot of that comes in the records that we get. One of the things we always try to make sure and do is that on the East Coast, when you're in, for example, New Jersey, they're actually the first digit of the zip code is a 0, and typically Excel does not do that, so we make sure that we go in and make that in a zip code format. We'll take that as something to look at and see if we can add that. We're literally now doing a full automation of the processing, and we could do some inspection for things like that, where you have TH as a suffix to a number, put some business rules in place. We'll take a look at that and see if we can fix it. That's great.
Okay, yeah, I was just thinking there would be somebody maybe had come up with a macro or some sort of inside of Excel that just a formula that you run. And
yeah, there really isn't a way to do that within Excel because there are too many variables in it to do it. I mean, you could conceivably write it, and it is possible within Excel to do string manipulation to maybe get that done, but that'd be very difficult to go do, and far easier for us to do it potentially in the code that we use, which literally now is inspecting every cell in that data. We might be able to look at it and do it easier. We'll take a look at it and see if we can make it work.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. All right, we got one more questioner, guys. We got plenty of time left, so please hit *6 and then hit 1 if you want to get in the queue and make a comment or ask a question. Area code 402, you're up.
Okay, it's Bud in Omaha.
Hey, bud. Welcome.
and I'd like to take credit for the 3 parcels of land that you were talking about a while ago, but actually I think that was a guy named Rodger Lecy in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. That's who it was. I wasn't sure if it was you or somebody else, so we
I wish it was me. But I will say I did that testimonial on the day I received my 3rd list. I got a phone call back from a guy who had ignored me for 5 weeks, and I got to come list me on a $300,000 acreage at full 7%. And that was 12 days ago, and today we're negotiating a contract, and probably we'll have multiple offers tonight. So, and it's turning into a cash deal for about January 6th. So that's that turns out to be okay.
So what's your return on investment so far for the 3 months?
Oh, I don't want to encourage you guys too much. Let me look here. Let's see. I'm going to say it's going to end up about 275 times 0.07 times 0.60 in Nebraska. So that's a gross commission income of $11,550 times 0.75 times 0.95. So I'll net $8,200.
Not bad.
And I've invested about. Let's see. I bought 3 lists, so I guess I'm in about $900, right?
All right. Keep. What is that? Rinse and repeat. Just keep that cycle going. That's great.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So you're basically trading dollar bills for $10 bills, bud.
Would you repeat that, please? I didn't hear you.
You're basically trading $1 bills for $10 bills.
Don't let it all go to your head, okay?
And I'm sorry it worked out okay in the long run. That's great. And I'm sorry you didn't have the $8 million. You're right. We had you and we had Rodger tell the testimonials, and I gave you credit for the commercial sale and reversed you guys. But
yeah, I will say this. I just completed a while back a Keller Williams 16-week course on baby boomers, which is an awesome class. But it was a 2-part situation. There was people who were alive transitioning into old people's homes, and probate. And following their program, I'm yet to get anyone who is alive. But with your program, I am getting probate money, which
nice.
real money talks.
Yeah. There are a lot of companies that pitch inherited properties, and they basically say send a letter to the address if maybe the mail will be forwarded. And you make a great point there. It's much easier to get a listing from somebody who's alive than to send letters to a deceased person's address. So, yeah, it's really programs like that are apples and oranges. So thank you for that.
So an attaboy to Rodger Lecy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
Rodger gets credit for our deal of the year. Rodger, if you're on, come on. Guys, we got a good 8 or 9 minutes left. Any other questions, issues? Anything anybody needs any help with? Oh, good. We got another one. All right. Area code 479. You're up.
Yeah, this is Rodger.
Hey, Rodger. Give us an update, please.
Well, I was ready to go back to the attorney yesterday. She called me and said, no, you're going to talk to the city attorney about the condemnation on the road going through the property in Fayetteville. And I kind of went, oh my God, I'm getting into the middle of the price for the condemnation, and that's really positioning me well for that. And then I'm waiting for the call. I'll probably call the city attorney tomorrow and see what I can do to help, confirm that he knows who I am before I make that call. So he's doing that, and I'm putting together a little presentation on agricultural land condemnation versus what it's going to be worth after, with all of the new zoning. I got all of the zoning for the parcels that are going to has the road going through it, and looks like it's all going to be residential with commercial land on either side of it. So we're looking at a pretty good slice of property there. And then as I started looking at the property in Benton County that the family owns, I find that within a half a mile of the 200 acres over there, they have somebody has purchased 1,500 acres adjacent to the Northwest Arkansas Airport. And so I don't know what's going on with that, but I've made a couple of calls to find out what's going on. And it's a significant developer who has purchased that 1,500 acres. Talked to a couple of my brokers here, and both parcels, I've got the brokers here that want to buy and hold both of those properties.
Wow.
Just let them know as soon as they can. It's really going to be left up to the family on what they want to do.
So as soon as you list it, you've got a buyer already?
No, I don't have it listed yet, but I've got two buyers.
That's what I mean. Wow.
Yeah.
Double end $8 to $10 million property in 24 hours or less. That's awesome. Bud, I'm calling you Bud now. Rodger, it sounds like you may have an opportunity there because you've got your foot in the door with the city. There must be other parcels that this road is going through that the city is getting involved. Right?
It is, and he's the city attorney. I don't know why somebody doesn't want to pay for an appraiser, but they're trying to lowball me on and that's okay. I'm not an appraiser. I'll go ahead and give it my best shot on what we're looking at on agricultural land being condemned, and that's the issue that's going to come up in the negotiations. The family's going to see that it's that what it's worth is after it's done, but the city's going to say, no, we're condemning agricultural land. And you can't use the price for what it's going to be after the road for what we're buying it before the road goes in. So I'm getting into the middle of. I think it's going to happen, but that's okay. What it does, it positions me with the city attorney as an expert on what I'm doing, or at least knowledgeable at what I'm doing, and it positions me with the attorney to really give that, and that's what I'm whether I get the listing or not, I'm positioning myself for future referrals on what's happening.
Hey, Rod, just a quick question or just a quick observation. One of the things you might want to go do is do a quick research and figure out what, and I'll just give you two companies to shoot at, Southland Corporation or 7-Eleven Corporation now, and Walgreens. And if that property is going right through there and it's owned residential with commercial, those are usually one of the first things that jump in is either a convenience store or Walgreens is trying to put Walgreens everywhere in the world. You can find out what they might pay for, 2 acres of land in the middle of the path of progress. That's a great justification for price jumps.
That's exactly what the guys that have done this before have told me. He says it's kind of a sit and hold, see what's there. I've got the University of Arkansas Medical Sciences looking for a campus over here, and they may jump in and do that. So they have a master plan. I've got the master plan for that. For that rezoning on that, and it's pretty much neighborhood conservation, retail services along the side of the road, commercial, but it just basically goes to the planning commission when somebody wants to buy it, puts a contingent offer on it based on zoning and doing that. And I'm looking for something that can draw to that area, whether it's a Walgreens, whether it's a UAMS, commercial, something along those lines. And I'm getting in on the land issue, the land side of it. If I can find somebody, I may be able to get
Rodger,
both sides.
Prior to this, were you a land salesman, or you just a typical residential realtor?
I started out. I've been in real estate since February of 2009. Nothing was going in commercial in 2009. Everything was falling apart, and so I just kind of been raised in residential and dabbled with some of the land stuff in here, and maybe 1 or 2 commercial stuff. But I'm getting a quick education.
The reason I ask, we've got tremendous turnout, and everybody's still on the call, so it's very interesting what you're doing. I don't want the agents to think this is not typical. Your average probate is going to be a single-family home or a condo or something, and Dee's question about a short sale is not typical. Typically, they're paid off free and clear properties, but you never know. Like it's a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. You never know where. We say that on these calls all the time. That even if you speak to someone, there's no probate involved, or they've already sold the property. Always an opportunity to brand yourself. This is a niche that so few agents work. Any opportunity you have to get out there, and you did a magnificent job with doing that with the attorney, and now you're doing it with the city. If the city has any other issues with any of those properties, and I don't know how many other landowners are involved, but who do you think they're going to call? You've done a great job of getting your foot in the door to something you weren't doing before. And in probate, no matter what you own, you're going to die someday. So it's a great opportunity, and I really congratulate you on doing a great job capitalizing on it. We have one more call, and we have just enough time for it. So let me go to that. Rodger, thank you for jumping in and correcting us, and thanks for sharing. Last question or comment of the day, area code 262.
Hi, guys. This is Zach from Milwaukee. I've been going on some appointments. We just got our first accepted offer with the probate earlier this month. But one thing I'm seeing a lot on the appointments, and I don't know if other people have seen this, is a lot of people sticking to their attorney and having some real issues with committing to listing a property until they consult with an attorney. I'm not sure if I've gotten that twice now in the last month. One was a competitive situation where the attorney was giving some kind of weird advice with just they wanted to know how much I charged and how much I would list it for, and I asked if they could be there at the listing appointment, and they weren't there. And then, and they essentially made the decision. From what I understood, the people kind of told me it was out of their hands, which I told them that it is in your hands, but they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, as far as we honestly, the only place I've heard that before has been California, because people are so, they're kind of afraid of falling out of bed the wrong way and getting sued. But typically, we don't hear that a lot. We always recommend reach out to the executor first. You don't need the attorney's permission to list the property. But then,
right.
by all means, once you've spoken to the executor, and especially if you've got the listing, reach out to the attorney. And because the attorney can be a great, steady source of future referrals. So I think if I met Chad, what's your take on that? If I got that question, then I'd go ahead and reach out to the attorney and sell yourself to the attorney, and try to get them on board. Would you agree, Chad?
What I would do is I would take the seller. I would say, well, listen, let's go see the attorney. When can we go meet with him? Or right. You got your cell phone, right? Let's call him right now. And I would first feel it out. Is it a trial balloon because they're not ready to sell or not ready to make a decision? Are they stuck in the sand? Or is it a legitimate objection and they really, really think they need to talk to the attorney? That will come out there. If you don't get the attorney on the phone, I would try to get everybody in the same room, because it's harder for an attorney to push business over to his buddy in front of a client if you're all sitting there. So if he's just trying to funnel referrals to somebody, who's lining his pocket or doing whatever, then it's pretty hard to do that in person when his client's sitting there saying, well, I really like what these guys have to offer and I want to list with them. Is that okay? It's going to be a pretty hard no for an attorney who's supposed to be looking out for their clients. I would do everything I could to get everybody on the same line, or if your client's willing, say, well, listen, I'm just going to grab lunch real quick. Can we meet over there at around 1 o'clock and we'll just talk this through? And just try to make it casual and not intimidating, but get in the office and sit down in the boardroom and take the listing. Because there's what you're doing is better than what anyone else could possibly do. But the attorney doesn't know that. And showing him with just you, it's easy for him to say, yeah, that sounds great, but I got this guy that's done 40 with me. He's not as likely to say that with the client there.
And another thing,
tell the seller and the attorney, hey, I work with attorneys all the time. That's not, I don't have a problem working with your attorney. It's, but well, good.
The other thing about it that's important to know is that, oftentimes they're concerned that they can't execute a listing agreement until, the probate's closed or the attorney says they can. And in every state that we're working in, what we know is that once they're appointed as the personal representative, and that's when they have to do that, because otherwise it can't get sold, and they are the legal authority representing the estate. So that's part of the educational process, and working with them and the attorney is a great way to get that opportunity in your hands.
Right. And I've reached out. I mean, I actually just had lunch with another attorney. I'm trying to get the attorney network going, because a lot of times when you make the call, they say, oh, we've already have it listed, so it's just an easier way to get there even earlier. But one thing I wanted to let you guys know is you mentioned that not many people work this niche. And, I'm a part of Milwaukee Real Estate Investors Association, and the attorneys I've talked to and the people at Milwaukee RIA, people say that nobody's working this niche in our market. We know maybe 2 other agents. My group knows 2 other agents maybe who are doing it. They're not doing it very well. So at least in the Milwaukee area, there aren't that many. So.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. We say that to agents all the time. Would you rather be working with a FSBO who might want to sell and has 100 other people calling them, or would you rather be talking to somebody that has to sell, and in most cases you're the only person calling them? It's just crazy, the difference in the odds. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, great call today, guys. Thank you so much. I just wanted to close by saying we've had a remarkable, really, this is our first full year in the business, and a couple months ago we were featured in the Wall Street Journal. We did a national radio show last week. We were featured on Inman, and we haven't gone out and fought the publicity. It's just I really believe you give a great product for a reasonable price, and you support your customers, and the word's getting out there. So, but I want to thank all of you who were part of the ground floor and really helped us get going. And even though we're not going to be on these calls for the next 2 weeks, please don't take the rest of the year off. Anytime you need any help with anything, just give us a call. We're growing by leaps and bounds, but we're never going to be too busy to help our existing clients. The best way to get a hold of us between now and the next Mastermind call, if you need help with anything, just send an email to support@alltheleads. And I always call 2 things. I always close these calls by challenging everybody. Please take one idea, one thought, one technique that someone shared today, go out and implement it, share it with us the first week of January. And finally, I want to wish you all a great holiday season. Enjoy the holiday with your family, and let's commit to making this an even better niche for you in 2016. And call us if you need us. Happy holidays, and thanks to all of you. We appreciate you showing up today. Take care.